So yeah, yeah, all the Caucasian people have to join together. Right? Now I've run that past some Chinese, right? Just a few, you know. I think it's a great idea. It's really bloody a great idea. So see that is for our people, right? See there's this thing going on with white people, this political kind of environment. That there's all these foreigners they've shoved into our places, right? And it just shows that it's actually this whole political push being fed to the public through the media. Um, Actually, is to so the bank can have more mortgages. Right? Or it wants to maintain, you know. That had crossed my mind though, shoving as much people in here as possible before there's a calamity and there's no, we're isolated, we become isolated. Right? And this COVID thing is exactly that, you know. So that also is a question mark. Did they plan this way back or what? Because they've done these wars. They've done these wars, man. Flimsy arguments. You know, all with the blessing of anxiety. So I said something about politicians need the blessings of people's anxiety for them to vote for them, right? And same with this permission to go to war. America's used to go to war. I mean, it does validate the belief that anxiety is virtuous, overcoming, you know, prevailing over an opponent. So the revelation of the eight laws fits that political reality exactly. So the Kanzak thing really is what should have been happening all along, and actually beforehand it was acknowledged all along. It's just that these dudes whose favourite passion in life, there isn't anything else that actually exists to them, is this esports. They're playing esports, right? These dudes, right? And the features in this amazing esports game they're playing are we the people, military, culture, music, media, and trade, right? They're playing this big esports game with these 5 dynamics in it, right? While everyone else, we just live life, and you know the value we get from what we are doing is the experience of life, experience for people, you know, workmates become family and stuff, you know, it's just how it is, man, and that's how we roll. So these people playing these esports with all of us, Um, they don't have any aspiration. They don't have any dreams. It's only that there's only that thing they do, the esports thing they do, right? There's all sorts of things around them that they'll put around them that have been there for longer than anyone's lives as little monuments to the belief that anxiety is virtuous. Some old guy, some old, 100 years ago, conquered something. So they get these statues. And I think we should ban the past, eh? We should ban the past. And the catalyst of it is the revelation of the angles. I mean, a bit of it is like, you could say that the human race has bullshit up in the past, made terrible mistakes, and now we're in the naughty chair for it. Now we're in the dog house for it, permanently, forever, because we've messed up in the past. Now that's an abstract thing, and it's sarcasm pretty much. But yeah. To understand what I'm saying, anxiety has a pre-existing condition on the relationship with consciousness that you're guilty and you deserve nothing. So these dudes at the top, the amnesty, right? Hopefully you've seen it. Hopefully it's been passed around every boardroom in Wall Street, and scrutinised by the CIA. Hope so, man. I'd be impressed. That's pretty cool. Because once they see it, of course, they'll then be able to figuratively look at anxiety in the hand and examine it for its function and mechanism. So I would say that the big ace up my sleeve is that everyone has consciousness, including all these people making the problems, right? These grand determinations they've used. But it's you that has the ace up the sleeve. The actual math, the correct math of it is you are lucky that you've got that ace up your sleeve. You being aware now that everyone else has this ace up their sleeve as well. I think you need to have faith in God. No. He's actually, God lives in everyone's stitches. God lives in everyone's stitches, man. They stitch themselves, their clothes, and these thoughts. They stitch their thoughts together with ideas. It's very magnetic, that, isn't it? How your thoughts attract other thoughts. It's very difficult to not see it like the human sees it, because we just have pictures and things and whatnot, but they're just representing something else, and it's the magnetic field in actual 3 dimensions, not 2 dimensions, You should look at that quite a bit, because the magnetic field as it exists in real time, right? Actually, there's something about it that's very similar to consciousness. When you consider that one magnetic field is coming against another one, and they're of different strengths, right? Different potencies, right? And it's the interaction of how they interact. So for the big one to actually communicate with the smaller one, the big one has to become accommodating for the smaller one, because one is bigger than the other, and one can fit around the other one. And so it's like a competition between magnetic fields, and that's this interaction thing going on. But the interaction thing going on is well after the fact of one's own experience. As we just sit here, we're here, boom, and we're looking around like a little baby, right? We're going, wow, wow, wow. We have this experience of our own self. Yeah, wow. And when language happens, we go, wow, this is an amazing thing. This is consciousness, right? Oh, that's amazing. Look, this is great. This is great. There's something I can do. See, talking about the character of consciousness, it's the actual thing of it. We are like this tiny external hard drive plugged into it, right? And you've got that massive thing, which is all the rest of it. And in some instances, it becomes an external hard drive to you. You go forth, making some cool thing happen, and you will desire to get validation. It's a unique thing for consciousness, that people aren't physically separated. We have bodies, physically separated. That actually just itself is a quite trippy, unique thing for consciousness, because there is nothing like that in consciousness. There's no age, there's no distance, so yeah. So this is the thing, never has there been any language to support the actual, be fit for purpose to actually communicate the whole of what we've got going on. There's no language for that. I knew a while ago that, that was the big thing, man, We need new language to support this. That's a trippy thing, man, because it's actually, this is all we've ever known, man. And it's just been right there under our nose, and we've never known it. There's never been this thing. It's a far out thing, man. So yeah, anyway, back to the first point. I think all Caucasian people should be acknowledged as one people. I mean, we already are. But to operate like everyone else, right? Of course, Maori are Maori. Indians are Indians. Chinese are Chinese. And even they go further in the Asian sense, because then there's 15 countries that are called Asian. They are Asian people. 15 countries that are called Asian. Because the relevance of that is they use the same style of language. I know those 15 in the Asian instance, they don't all speak the same language, but it's kind of the same inflection, right? And all Indians, because there's like 4 main different, characteristics of the Indian people in India. North, south, east, west, man. And there's a different thing with them, and it's exactly like New Zealand. Further down New Zealand you go, the people change more and more, and it is really quite pronounced actually. The character and ways of the people. If you want to know about getting down to Otago and down that way, right? The bottom third of the South Island. If you want, you can look at YouTube at early Scottish television, right? Because there's something these people have retained, this aspect of character from other places, other times, and see, this aspect why that might be the one is that the height of civilized life is the family, and so these people, they gravitate around that, and all people do it. So the relevancy to the revelation of that laws is the whole middle class of the entire world are cut from the same cloth. And so I say, map the entire Caucasian people as the people. See, this is something that's asked about, folks, right? The government represent the people, yet they seem to be the aristocracy, right? And there's behaviours in the people that's perfectly fine, and that there's laws about. You can't do it, and it's perfectly fine and reasonable. Which is smoking marijuana is one of them. Because as you know, wherever you are, the people there where you are, that like to smoke marijuana, they seem to think that it's actually, they're trying to honour God or something. I'm very aware of this, this whole business. I have inhaled once or twice, you might say. Yet it's against the law. I think it's against the law because the male strain of the plant has 80 industrial uses, and it's really easy to make. It grows in the ground like magic. So yeah, if I was President Trump, I would put the entire DuPont family under house arrest, have a little chat with them, take all their wealth off them, a whole lot of it. And get all of the companies under the DuPont brand and give them to community groups. That's what Trump should do. If he's a man, if he wants to live up to what he's been saying, his intent, that's a really good idea. because the DuPont brand came about probably the mid-30s, 1930s or something like that. And they had a little bit of a chit chat, and one of them says, "Hey man, I could make a shitload of money out of chemicals if you made hemp illegal." And that's that's the size of that, man. Because that's organised crime right there, right? Oh, sorry, man. You know what? All the people that work at DuPont would still have a job, and the owners of DuPont, right, would actually be able to have a life. I know this. I know this one thing. Those people, like the owners of DuPont and the the upper echelon style, they would drive past middle class people and wish they could change places, man. Just a simple guy, the simple man, and his wife and kids in a small house, and he works, and it's all about that family. And I'm just thinking a lot of these rich people would not have a family life because they can't take their head off. They can't take their head off. That's fucking not on, man. They get all fucking cynical, depressed about it, pissed off, umbrage. Why has life done this to me? Maybe a slave to this, maybe a slave to the paper world and taking my family off me. And what's the use of making all this money when I've never got any time to spend it or enjoy it? So they could, under my proposal, they could actually go and do that. They could have this thing, because it's this bloody, it's this competition, this implied competition that exists, where money is the tangible aspect. Money is the tangible aspect. That's the point system, right? And this whole game is instinctively intuited according to the political correctness of anxiety, that they have to make all this money and be highly aggressive competitively. And so there's actually little difference from professional athlete to these super wealthy people about the world view, right? So this is a matter of consciousness, man. It's just that you think that rich people are all different to you because they are really wealthy and they've got wicked nice cars, and it's like, holy shit, international travel every week, and it's like, wow. But actually, the values driving it all are just the same as the ones you're experiencing in your life. You want to get validated. You want validation. You want to do something creative. You want to continue the the value that you are giving your friends by being yourself. You want to continue that, and this goes on with all these corporates. See, the real breakdown of it in the corporate thing is it's a hierarchical structure thing. Um, Again, in this corporate environment, this has got, it's a means to organise it, but it actually has some negative points, man. Because if it's instinctively intuitive, then people imagine what that means. So whatever anxiety the owner has, the IC will just throw on a few spoons of anxiety just to make sure he understands properly. And this is repeated down until you get to people into that are the lower of the hierarchical structure, and they've got all those spoons of anxiety from each each set of ears it's gone through. So I usually tell you free before it gets to the people that interface with the actual people who make the money, which is the working people. And so how they communicate what they want, that's pretty crap, eh? Because people that work with their hands, they communicate in a certain way, okay? And management doesn't communicate like that. You know, management are very well known, in my New Zealand experience, to write checks that they want me to cash, and they don't give a shit. They just fucking. And in one manufacturing industry I was in, that was very real because it was very labour intensive. It was fiberglassing, right? It was very labour intensive, and mate, they always promised too much, man. They took any kind of an opportunity to relax out of it, while people that work usually know being calm is the best way of doing work. Just roll with it, just plod your way through it, and it gets done, no problem. And so there's this great problem with communication. And that is the expression of consciousness. And after that, everyone goes home. Okay, well, what's the news? Well, you'd think they would. The way that the media think they're all that, a bag of chips, you think, oh, everyone's watching them. Like media works in New Zealand, which has got just the biggest question marks over it in whole lots of ways. They've been announcing this year that they're New Zealand's best source of news. But almost every political story has the media competing with the politicians, and how they kind of make it. See, most people think of the best. Most people are like normal people, me and you know, people. We just hope for the best. We try our best and we hope for the best. And we will forgive something to just get on to the next thing, right? Which might be having another go, you know. We don't get hung up on stuff, right? Well, many do. I know. Speaking generally. Yeah, so the media thinks it's been like, such a great service to the country, you know. But really, the media are all they are is actually all they are being is a very strong advocate that anxiety is wisdom and virtuous. You know, they think it's their job to attack politicians. And there's all this dodgy stuff going on. They get the information from sources, and it's like there's this prominent politician guy in New Zealand, Don Brash, and somehow this big story blew up because they'd somehow got a hold of his emails, right? I would have thought that's against the law. And at the time, the media made a big report that there was botulism in a container of produce from Fonterra, which is dairy products. Yeah, you know, there was botulism in it. And there was this fucking, man, that was a train wreck. It completely, actually almost shut down Fonterra for a moment. It destroyed the trade relationship with China. Really destroyed them. And this other company, I can't remember the name of it, but they dealt with milk as well. It totally impacted this trade arrangement they had into the EU, and they lost like $110 million because the media wanted to, you know, they made it up. They fucking made it up. They made it up. How could they possibly know if there's botulism in the container? You know, they made it up. I mean, the fucking media would never know about the production line of Frontera because it's a food area, right? And it's very high security in food manufacturing, right? Very high security in food manufacturing, and it's for that reason. There's no contaminants, you know. And recently you got the America's Cup going on, and Dalton, right? He's our top man, and all of a sudden the media's got this report that there is like been swindling going on with public money, and it's gone into this Hungarian bank account, and it's making a little story about it, and Dalton said it's a very highly orchestrated campaign to ruin his reputation, because of course they'll find out that nothing's happened. And just a single instance of it being made public, it's all happened in that instance, where because people believe that anxiety is wisdom generally, as a conventional wisdom, you know, any mention of it, then they're paying it's in the mind. It's in the mind, and because people are actually apathetic to the wider news, because we love our life, and we're here. So there's quite an apathy to the news, really. Um, yeah, highly orchestrated campaign to ruin his reputation. And I feel like getting involved with this, man. I feel like going out and about and seeing who's done this, right? Because these people, they feel they are not part of normal society. They're outside normal society, right? The media, right? And I think they get a bit carried away because of that, right? And so it just makes obvious that there's some very, very bad character involved in our media culture. It's actually very bad culture. But you get like the Media Works, they were playing all these votes of confidence for organised crime, right? Heaps of votes of confidence. And I'm talking about Sons of Anarchy and stuff like that. House of Cards. You know, it's advertising the political is of the highest importance, right? And actually, this, you know, if it wasn't for the belief that anxiety was wisdom, we would never have politics. Politics won't exist, right? Because it needs a language to exist, right? And it needs a reason to seem important, man. So they train up the public, you know, with all these votes of confidence, and that anxiety is virtuous, right? So you take the old Sons of Anarchy, they're doing their they're selling weapons and stuff, right? And, so the people buying the weapons think that anxiety is virtuous, which is why they want them. They've got to have heaps of money to pay for them, because the people that are getting them from believe that anxiety is virtuous. So that they have to honour that, you know. And the people selling it, they think that anxiety is virtuous. Well, they already got millions and they want more. So mostly the whole political reality of it is, it's the philosophy of it is that anxiety is virtuous. If there's a very macro, overarching philosophical umbrella, it's the belief that anxiety is wisdom and virtuous, right? This goes back into how we're all our own consciousness, man. Boing, our magnetic field, boing, and we want validation. And this is the operating system at the quantum level of thought, right? And we just go about it. And so mostly every group in the world are actually rolling on the same understanding, right? You know, why would you want your horse race, you know, to go well? Why is it your horse should win that race? Why would you be pleased about that? Why would you be really happy about that? It's the whole opposite there. Is because even as that trade event with different nuances in that trade event, right, all kind of are under, they have the element, that's the thread through them. That anxiety is wisdom and virtuous. Working together is an expression of consciousness. Working together. Right. This is the whole reason of our success. The family thing. This is working together. Working together and make kids, and then work together and talk, and and so yeah, the whole criminal thing and the government thing and all the conspiracy thing, and bloody people are all doing the same shit. It's just different fucking days, man. Different. It's a different thing they're doing, and they look completely different of it. Because it represents a whole completely different expression of consciousness. Some guy peels up in his new fucking 7 Series or something, and he's got a suit on, and it's like, blah blah, and you would get an impression from that, right? And that's that consciousness field thing. Boosh! That's the impression it's leaving on your field. So you get these two fields, the observer and the participant, the spectator and the participant, right? The participant is beaming his consciousness out, man, rah. And the spectator just shoots his consciousness out. The spectator shoots their consciousness out to embrace this bigger, more amazing consciousness going on. Boosh. And indeed they embrace. And the spectator could be it's love, eh? It's love. So many things. This is the sex thing too, You get some girl that wants to get your attention, and she can do certain things, and boing, you are really focused, man. And it's the same for girls, same for everyone. Like a little kid whose friend turns up with a new bike. There's a virtual consciousness party that occurs with that, with just joy. That is joy. So yeah, the top echelon of the world. This is an amnesty, right? The revelation of the 8 laws is an amnesty. Okay? Because you never knew what was going on. You never knew what was going on. Nobody knows what's going on. All the people that have got an idea there's something going on have all been attenuated by religion. Right? And this is the opportunity, right? Because it's out there now, you know.